I'm telling you, I'd make some money if they really let me go off. Welcome back. 10:34. Hold on. 10:35 officially.
Ooh, all right.
We hit a time block. Lacy.
Yes.
Car accidents happened 100 years ago. What a sad one.
Super sad. I know. This was a sad article. Sorry. The benefit of me doing an article every single week means that if you don't want to read a sad article, you can wait until next week and it'll be, oh, you all right?
Yeah, I tweaked something. I didn't really sleep last night, but I kind of like still laid wrong.
Yeah.
And now I can't even pop it. It's like locked up. So I just
Yeah.
walk it around like somebody that's an elected official in Congress, 80 plus.
Just can't quite move your body in normal ways.
Maybe I should run for office now that I can't move.
There you go.
I don't know.
So anyway, if you don't want to read a sad article, then this is not the article for you, but there are 51 others in the year that are not sad. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the article, and I'm going to talk about why I wrote it. So the article is about two sisters, Prudence Chappell, who was 29, and her 12-year-old sister, Pearl, and they were killed in a car accident in 1925. I told you it was sad.
Oh, man.
It's really sad.
This is awful.
It's really, really sad.
Okay.
But one of the things that I try to do is talk about, it's twofold, talk about people that might not have any, like we don't remember otherwise.
Yeah.
And also talk about things that have changed in a way that we can look at it now and see the progression of like safety and stuff like that. So the first part of that, Prudence was a teacher at Granite City Community High School. She'd been a teacher at Alton High. She taught business classes at both places, and then a night business class in St. Louis where her family lived. She lived for.
Did they do? Was train kind of the mode of transportation back and forth? That just like is that because to me that's a lot of distance to travel.
Well, she was driving back and forth from St. Louis every day for her job. Yeah. Because there was an article a couple years before that about her driving back and forth because her mother had died, and so she wanted to be at home with her sister after her mother died. Her father later remarried, but while she was in Alton, it talked about that. Like she wanted to be there for her sister after her mother died. So she was staying in St. Louis, even though she was working in Alton, so that she could be there with her family. But at this point, when this car accident happened, the two sisters were on a trip. They went around the Great Lakes. They'd done a month-long trip to Chicago, to Wisconsin, Michigan, and they were right home because the school year was about to start, and she was teaching at Granite City High School. And there was some slick road in near Dwight, Illinois. They were just a quarter mile north of Dwight, Illinois, and in a Buick Roadster, it skidded 200 feet on wet pavement and overturned. Prudence died instantly. Pearl died, I think, like 12 hours later. It was absolutely horrific. So a really, really sad story. Also, Pearl had been at St. Louis Children's Hospital for like a year because she had heart disease. So she was well enough to go on this trip, and then it ended very tragically. I know where they're buried. They're buried at Memorial Park Cemetery in Jennings, Missouri. I don't know if they have gravestones. There's not anything on Find a Grave. That may mean that they don't have gravestones. That may mean that nobody has photographed the gravestones and uploaded them onto Find a Grave. So not sure about that. But I just wanted to highlight these two, this girl and this woman who otherwise we wouldn't be thinking about. We wouldn't be talking about 100 years later. It's kind of like with Vintage Voices where you like acknowledge people that lived here who aren't around anymore and who might not have been famous isn't exactly the right word, but like might not have been someone whose memory was passed on through time, especially because neither one of them obviously had children. They didn't have descendants. So I just wanted to sort of acknowledge their lives. Yeah. And then the other part about that is I learned a lot about anti-lock brakes because you didn't have anti-lock brakes in 1925. If there was wet road, you skidded. Mm-hmm. I mean, there were ways it's like pumping the brakes. There were other ways to like try to get out of a skid, but there weren't systems like that. And so they started inventing anti-lock brake systems kind of soon after that, but they were for airplanes at first. And then motorcycles started having anti-lock brakes in the 1950s as an option. But for cars, they weren't on any cars until the 1970s and weren't standard issue till the 1990s. And so kind of like thinking about car accidents, specifically, I was in a car accident 2 years ago. And if I hadn't had side airbags, I might not be here. And so thinking about all of the things that we have not died from, you know, like all the things that you would just instantly die from 100 years ago versus the things that most of us have lived through now, be that a car accident or some sort of illness, bacterial infection. It's just kind of shocking to think about the differences in safety. And so I walked away from this grateful for analog brakes, which is something I'd never really even thought about before.
Only controversial question.
Okay.
Why was she living in this alderman's home?
Okay. Also, she was living in the alderman's home with the family.
Oh, okay.
Because there was a postcard that his wife had gotten the day before from them. Like, see you soon. Well, I know.
That's actually really sad.
It's really sad. I didn't include that because it was just really sad. Yeah. But lived with his family, I think because that's where she was teaching, but she
probably
was just there
closer distance. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people in that time period.
What was the gas mileage of a Model T?
Well, they were in a Roadster.
Buick. Yeah, I'm going to Google that.
Okay,
I'm going to use the Google machine.
Use the Google machine. But yeah, so she was living at the alderperson's house with his family during the school year, and then in St. Louis like the rest of the time. But I think it probably just like rented a room, or maybe that was a benefit. Like a lot of teachers and obviously have like families and stuff, and so they might live with someone in the area. 14
miles a gallon.
There are still cars that only get 14 miles a gallon.
Yeah, but I mean, people want those cars. I mean, that's like if you get a Wrangler, you aren't expecting to go very far.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. I mean, this is all they had. This was like the 32 mile a gallon.
Yes.
Could you imagine how many times you have to fill up?
Yeah, a lot.
Especially if you're driving that distance.
Yeah, I mean, they were driving.
Did people was that normal? Driving that far every day, and doing all the different stops?
Like when she was going from St. Louis?
Like now it is, of course, but was it back then?
I don't know. That's a good question. I think that they did a lot of recreational driving. Like you would drive to see relatives in Jerseyville on the weekends, and then they'd write about it in the newspaper, or drive to St. Louis to visit people on the weekends. Or for like a social call. But I don't know, commuting. Ooh, okay.
The average person traveled approximately 1,056 miles by car in 1925.
And how much do they travel now? If you don't have a comparison,
hold on,
then the numbers mean nothing.
Okay, hold on. So we got 1,056.
Okay.
Approximately 12,000 miles per year.
Yeah. That actually makes a lot of sense because that looks a lot like the difference in how many people owned cars.
Yeah.
Or like how many people drove.
Oh my God. Indiana, if you live there, the average miles driven by state, Indiana, 20,560 miles a year.
So they're almost double the average.
Man.
Not quite, but.
Illinois at 12,193.
So average.
I think it's because Chicago.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a good thing to blame Chicago for because it's not controversial. It's just there's not a lot of car driving.
It's not blaming. It's just.
Well, I'm blaming it. We could be number one.
But do we want to be number one in driving?
It'd be better than being number one in like a crime or something. I don't know.
Well, yeah, but it's not either or.
I was trying to win an award that was positive.
It's not like they pass out one award in each state.
They take it away whenever you have a bad award, so it just cancels out.
Right.
We'll take a quick break. We'll come back and chat with Lacy a bit more. I hope my shoulder feels. Meh.
For the biggest selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs in the Riverbend, visit AltonToyota.com or stop by their location on the Homer Adams Parkway in Alton. Winner of the prestigious President's Award, Munganass Burkhardt Alton Toyota knows how to treat their customers, and they will help you find the vehicle that is perfect for you. For years, Munganass Toyota has been a fixture in the Riverbend, and now Munganass Burkhardt carries the tradition. New name, but the same great service you've come to expect.
Picture This and More has been a trusted name in the Alton community for more than 30 years, with the last 3 being right here on Broadway. We specialize in quality framing at affordable prices. We also feature works by local artists because we're proud of our community. If you have valued treasures to display and preserve, we're sure to have the perfect fit with our large selection of custom framing and display options. Whatever color, shape, or size, Picture This and More has the look you need. Stop by today and let us help you with your next project.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
Gonna get fired if I don't get some sleep. My long lost buddies say I'm getting in too deep, but I like it, I love it, I want some more of it. I try.
Welcome back.
I can't rise above it.
10:45. 20,000. No wonder people in Indiana are boring. All they do is drive.
Maybe they listen to interesting podcasts or something.
If it ain't mine, I don't care. If it ain't mine, I don't care.
Don't care.
What about Howard Stern? Whatever happened to that? Is he gone? Did they hack him?
Who?
Howard Stern. You hear about that? They weren't going to renew his contract.
Oh, I have no idea.
I don't know. I remember. I like listening to old Stern. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. It's kind of like those are the things that I can never say, but I'm like, wow, that guy said them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
a little bit living vicariously.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of.
Like not quite, but
yeah.
Just like you're like, oh,
what a show. Like regardless of how good or bad it was content wise, it was a show. I mean, you're like, you could not turn it off. I guess some people could. Some people just despise the man still to this day. Remember that one crazy guy that was on the air around here? What was his name? He had the radio, the 1430. Remember him?
No, it was maybe before my Alton time.
All right, back to Lacy's segment. So with that being said, I mean, this is a sad one, but it really shows you, I mean, I was watching a video and it got a bunch of attention because Rogan talked about it one day and like I saw it before Rogan, just want to throw that out there. But it was about like this news station, it was a local news station in the South, and it was when they were starting to enforce seatbelt laws.
Oh.
And they were enforcing like no drinking in the car and driving.
Yeah.
And man, you would have thought that the communists were taking over that day. Like people were like, what are they trying to do? Trying to make this a communist country because I work 12 hours and can't have a beer in my car anymore? I'm like, oh my God, like it's wild. It's like, I don't know. It's like whenever I turned 21 or I turned 18 and could buy cigarettes and I'm like, became a smoker because I was stupid. And then I'm like, all of a sudden the next year it was like, you can't buy cigarettes until you're 21 now, pal. I'm like,
wait,
what? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
They changed that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't get cigarettes. And they let me smoke and then took it away.
Oh.
That's what creates problems.
So, okay. I feel like we took a weird tangent there because
I don't know.
I feel like you being able to smoke cigarettes and then not is maybe like kind of a problem, but people not being able to drink in their car is a good thing that they can't drink in their car.
Some people can. I'm not trying to be the guy. I know I have a platform to reach. I just, some people we've seen, you would never tell if they were inebriated driving. Have you ever seen that? I have a buddy of mine that I'm telling you would never notice.
But have you ever been in a wreck with him?
No.
So you don't know how he would respond to like a situation.
That's true.
Because I feel like, you can fake it through a lot of things and just see. No, but
that's true.
But like those reaction times, even if they're dull just a little bit.
Oh no, you're right. I'm not arguing with you on the importance.
I know you're not. We're not having a debate of like whether drinking and driving is good or not. Like that's not what this is. But I think that even if somebody seems like they're totally okay to drive or operate heavy machinery or whatever they're doing, if it's even just a little bit dulled, then you don't know what your reaction times, because it might be that, someone runs across the street, like a child runs across the street, or, a light turns that you're not expecting.
Yeah, that's true.
And even if you react, if you're not reacting.
Let me rephrase
quickly.
that. I'm talking, I should rephrase low traffic situations, like a 1 a.m. drive home or a 2 a.m. drive home, when there's not a lot of things going on in town.
I get that, but also then you've got several people that are like that.
Yeah, tons. Have you driven around downtown at noon? I mean, you know what I'm talking about when the lunch crowds get out and it's like, what is happening here? Have you ever seen that?
I don't know. Not in a driving. You
haven't seen that down here? Oh, it's amazing when the lunch crowd gets out for like they got to get back before the kids do type of thing. Okay. And you're like, oh man, like you're just like 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a DUI coming out the door. Like, it's just crazy.
When the lunch crowd gets up.
Like when they go for lunch. You haven't seen that? Like,
so people are drinking during lunch and then...
Oh, yeah, driving all the time in this town.
God.
All the time. I swear.
No, I believe you.
It's amazing.
I believe you.
But it's like,
I just don't like it.
But you know what's that's what I think is amazing to me, that so many people still are like, hell with a $10,000 DUI. Let's just go ahead and keep driving.
Please don't drink and
Don't
drive.
do that. That's my point. But it's
drive.
amazing to me though. Like it's almost like you see so many people do it. You're like, you think it's normal, and it's not.
Right.
That's
like,
kind of my bigger point on this.
You're absolutely right, because if it gets normalized, then you don't realize that it's you can talk yourself out of it being a bad idea. It's like, oh well, if a lot of people do it and nothing bad happens.
Well, people get so pissed at me because I don't. I will not drive. If someone invites me out, I'm like, all right, how are we getting there?
Oh, right.
Like, I'm not driving.
We
can Uber, or we can find a DD, but I am not going to have my vehicle near anywhere of me driving. Seriously, if people get mad, I guess we'll see you tomorrow. Good, see you tomorrow. I don't need it. I don't get the whole thing about this.
No, I think it's.
But anyway, it takes me back to the seatbelt thing too. Yes. This woman was just brutally angry. She had her baby in the front seat of the car still. Had the cigarette hanging out of her mouth. And this is in the 1970s, is that 80s, so I can, talk trash on her. But she was like, what do they expect next, for all of us to just go ahead and fall in line like this is the Soviets? And I'm like, what? Like, come on, it's a seatbelt.
Yeah. And we've talked about this before. That's one of the main reasons that people don't die these days in car accidents at the rate that they used to, because of seatbelt laws. It was seatbelt laws, enforcement of drunk driving laws,
and safety probably.
And safety, safety issues. Car seats for children was a major one, and that's what gets me. Like, if you're not going to wear a seatbelt, do your thing.
Yeah.
But like a child,
don't even get me going on that,
or anyone else that you're responsible for, that's just not okay.
I always love the people that are like, they have their baby or kid in their car and they're driving like a moron. And it's like, I don't care if you're by yourself and you wrap around, but like you have a child in there,
Yeah.
But it's so fascinating though, because back then it's not like they had the roads they had now anyway.
Right. Right. It's a very good point.
So like, it's not like we're on the highway with beautiful blacktop and well, depending on what part of 270 you're on, and then you're good to go. I mean, they were probably on brick a lot of the times, or on a lot of just dirt road, I'm sure.
Dirt, cinder.
Yeah. And how hard that would be to stop in the water. I mean, that's really a driving hazard.
Yeah. And I don't even know.
Did they have then windshields were, I guess it wasn't boxed all the way in yet, were they?
I'm not sure, because Roadster makes me think of like a convertible Roadster. See what a Buick Roadster 1925 looks like. But I mean, they didn't even necessarily have 2-lane roads with markings.
Well, they did have a top, but I guess they had a top. They had it both, but it was a convertible.
It wasn't a top where, even if there was a top, it wasn't a top where if you overturned, you were going to be okay.
Oh gosh, no!
Like, this is not a Jeep.
No,
like, this is not.
It's like a canopy. Yeah, really, is what it is.
Yeah, maybe like a cloth canopy.
That's what it is. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what. Here, I'm doing good at my job today. Let's see. Hold on here. I'm finding a lot of good information. Oh, okay. That's because I hit I'm like, why is it zooming out when I'm zooming in? I wasn't. I was zooming out. Let's see. See?
Yeah. So something like this would have been what they were driving.
Yeah, that's that little canopy right there.
Yeah.
Nope.
Not a safe car for
It's crazy though that there's still other countries that don't have a lot of safety requirements.
Yes.
Like, it just brings me to that point. Like,
yes.
There was a zip line? No, maybe it was a ski lift crash or something in like Russia somewhere. And it was because like even the Russian media, as propagandists as they are, were like, yeah, no, it's because we didn't check this in 1964. And it's like, what? Oh man. And like, be honest with you, like I freak out. Like I told you about my parasailing thing and how I was like having just a coronary.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. To come to find, they like examine these things like every day. You know what I'm saying? Like there's always these constant checks. And what's crazy is like not a lot of the other portions of the world follow it with how like up to date and current everyone else is with being in the tech age.
It worries me in the United States that if we're going to loosen safety regulations on a lot of different industries, like that's terrifying. I don't want that to be something that happens here, and it's something I worry about.
Like that's why I don't get on. I mean, I shouldn't say. That's why I don't get on carnival rides. I shouldn't say that, and I'm gonna get in so much trouble for. I refuse to. Like I'm like it's cool. Like I know nothing ever goes wrong when I'm here, but I just no, thank you.
I feel the same way.
Wow. At least see. I mean, I shouldn't say that with homecomings coming up. Like, I feel so bad for even throwing that out there.
I know. But I you know, it just feels like there are so many things, especially with carnival rides that get
because they're
taken
moving
to lots
all
of
the
different
time.
places. You know, one screw gets lost somewhere and somebody doesn't realize it. I don't like it either.
I'll pass.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the episode of that TLC show where the person marries the carnival ride and falls in love with it?
No,
that's a real thing.
I think if I was going to fall in love with an inanimate object, it wouldn't be a carnival ride. But I mean, who knows?
Hey, each their own. I just brought me doing it next.
I wanted to hurt anyone.
Wanted to throw that out there in a show lately, so I'm glad I got to do that now.
Put that in this one.
But I'm glad that especially with her being an educator and then having, I'm sure, just the impact that she made on those students' lives and how much traveling she did with multiple classes. That she really that people did remember. And you're right. There's so many people that do some really cool stuff that always seem to be forgotten about eventually, and they shouldn't be.
Yeah. And one thing that I thought was really nice is in October, the Madison County Teachers Institute honored her memory in memory of William E. Kelly, who is Isaac Kelly's son, who I'm going to talk about more when we do that, but Rita Webster and H.T. McCrae during their annual meeting. And so in October, I'm going to talk a little bit about all of them and that meeting and everything. So that'll be a follow-up article. But so she was, really at least cool. In her time, she was acknowledged and remembered. But yeah, I mean, we even have a photo of her, which is kind of a nice thing, and a quote.
This is really cool.
Yeah.
What are you writing about next week?
Lyman Trumbull.
Hot damn, I was ready for that
one.
So what's this one about? Just the life and legacy of our man Lyman?
It's not specifically the life and legacy of Lyman Trumbull. It's an article where the postmaster for Alton received this letter asking for information about Lyman Trumbull, James Semple, and David Jewett Baker, who were all senators from Illinois who lived in this area at one time. And so the government was putting together like biographical information about them and wanted to make sure that what they had was correct. And so thought, if there were relatives living in the area or other people that had known them, they could check the information and send it back. So I've got a little bit about each one of those men. And Lyman Trumbull was the longest serving and the probably most influential in terms of American politics.
100%.
I mean, one of the most influential senators of all time.
100%.
And he's one of those people, the more you read, the more impressed you are.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously a lot of us know about the Supreme Court, being on the Supreme Court, making the decision, or right when the opinion, wasn't he? Didn't he write the opinion?
Well, he was on the Illinois Supreme Court. Yeah, and then he's the one that wrote the 13th Amendment to the Constitution. Yeah. Dissolving slavery. Yeah. He was more adamant.
That's what
about slavery being abolished than Lincoln. He was kind of pushing. Lincoln was anti-slavery, but he was pushing Lincoln to be more adamant about it.
Well, because Lincoln had the different situation of having to still corral.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying you
Illinois,
did.
I'm not talking about
I'm
Lincoln.
not saying that. It's just interesting though because it's just the different platforms that those two share. Because you're right. If you learn about just read a little bit about Lyman as a senator, it's crazy some of the things that he very very boldly wrote and thought about out loud.
Yeah, and he changed parties several times because if what the party that he was in was not serving him, he was like, I'm out, I'm doing something else, which I think is kind of cool because...
I think we're at a point where that's getting ready to happen. Because I think, honestly, we had it used to be that way. I mean, the Whig Party lasted, 2 days? And then you got all these things. So it's one of those where I think here in the next 10 years, we're going to see a new party emerge, maybe two new ones.
I hope we get more people like Lyman Trumbull and all
That's
that.
That's what I hope so, too. Yeah. Oh, hey, some interesting notes. You remember Pat Robertson? He was the televangelist that started the... Got a good one.
Okay.
We're going to be talking to his former bodyguard who wrote a book. Okay.
Really? Okay.
And a little bit of behind the fourth wall of televangelism, if you will. It's going to be very fascinating. Okay. Very excited for that one. And then also coming up is going to be Randy from Trailer Park Boys. I don't know if you've ever seen this show. Really excited to have him on the show.
I can't believe I'm on the same level of people you interview as...
Yeah,
pretty amazing.
But yeah, he's going to be on. He's coming to Peoria, so we're going to be chatting with him in a couple of weeks too. I think next week, maybe the following. But we're going to be talking to David Wilcox. He's the bodyguard of Pat Robertson next week. This is going to be really interesting. Former bodyguard.
Do you end up?
Yeah,
just every connections.
Broken clock is right once a day. With that being said, Lacy, thank you for your time, and thank you. Beautiful day. Don't spend it at work. I will see you tomorrow. I will see you tomorrow on that Thursday. We're almost out of August. Until then, enjoy the day. Try your best to stay out of jail.